Hi, I'm Daniel, and I am counting down the top 10 worst Spongebob episodes. From the seasons I have done top 10 bestiest for so far. Considering this is the worstest on the internet, I need to put an opinion warning on here. Also, I only dislike top 6 of the year, so the first 4 are on a scale from mediocre to okay. 10. The Chaperone. After Pearl's prom date cancels going with her, Mr. Krabs sends SpongeBob to go with her. This episode I can actually say I like. The song is good and Pearl's underrated character. But the first half is uninteresting and this episode isn't really that funny. But it's still overall not too bad. 9. The Sponge Who Can Fly. SpongeBob tries to fly with jellyfish and the Bikini Bottom citizens yap at him, but when SpongeBob actually can fly, them same fish try to exploit him. Also, Patchy tries to find the lost episode. I will admit that the Patchy segments are amazing, especially when he uses faith in SpongeBob, but the main SpongeBob parts are quite bad. The problems I have with this episode is mainly the townsfish being annoying and thinking they are old favourites, and this episode being dragged out, which gave it no reason to be a two-parter. 8. Bubble Buddy. When Patrick's out of town, SpongeBob makes a friend out of Bubbles. This is probably the most unpopular choice on the list, and hear me out. This episode doesn't really play around with the fact that it's Bubbles and how easy it can be popped, which is why in my opinion Bubble Buddy Returns is better. Also, even though he's meant to be stupid, him being alive is a bad ending. 7. Pre-hibernation week. Before she goes in hibernation, Sandy wants to do a lot of dangerous things with SpongeBob. This episode avoids being bad with a lot of really funny moments, like this is a Yoda Barnacles, but this episode presents Sandy as really unlikable. I think even the people working on this season didn't like the episode, because 3 episodes later, it was confirmed that Sandy goes big during hibernation, which debunks this episode's existence. 6. I Was a Teenage Gary. SpongeBob gets turned into a snail by getting a snail vaccine. This episode is meant to be a horror movie parody, but it doesn't even parody horror much. If anything, it plays it completely straight, which could work in other shows, but it doesn't work in the comedy show SpongeBob. 5. Dumped. Gary dumped SpongeBob for Patrick. I don't have much to say here rather than Patrick being unlikable and have you seen this snail being better, and the most likely the third SpongeBob movie is better. 4. Krabby Land. Mr. Krabs scams children. That synopsis should say it all. This episode started turning Mr. Krabs into a bigger villain than Plankton, and as well as scamming kids, he is also mean to SpongeBob, instead of being a nice mentor who is just a bit cheap. 3. The paper. Squidward gives SpongeBob a piece of paper, and he soon regrets it when SpongeBob is having fun with it. This episode's concept should have been solved easily if Squidward would have just bought another piece of paper. And as well as that, this episode is very boring. 2. I'm with Stupid. When Patrick's parents come to visit, SpongeBob pretends to be stupid, but Patrick forgets he is pretending. Although I do believe Patrick genuinely forgot, this episode is still mean-spirited, and Patrick's stupidity is at least double the usual amount. Also, the ending, which I won't spoil, and actually used to like, makes no sense and makes all rewatches ruin the experience even more. And now, honourable mentions are Party Pooper Pants, Your Shoes Untied, Naughty Nautical Neighbours, and The Great Snail Race. 1. Grandma's Kisses. After being made fun of, SpongeBob thinks he is too old to treat like a child by his grandma. This episode is infuriating, partly because Patrick is purposely upsetting SpongeBob, but this episode mentions bullying while specifically being about that. This episode was so close to just being average, but the last couple of seconds ruin it. Saying you can just ignore bullying is a bad message, because SpongeBob has to work there and would have to deal with it each day, even though it clearly upsets him. I really hate this episode, but I doubt it'll even make my overall top 10. So that's something to look forward to when I do top 10 worst of other seasons. So, I decided to end this video with my tier list of these 3 seasons that you can look at to see my almost exact episode ranking. Next up is the best of season 4, but first I have other videos planned. The end.